welcome to the Getting to Know Me podcast. Today's episode is road trip day 5 of being homeless too. But we've kind of migrated a little bit, like physically and metaphorically. We've switched, well, at least I'll speak for myself. I've switched my mentality. So instead of focusing on being homeless, this trip has been amazing. Yesterday was the most amazing part of the trip. I'm so glad that we continued, because we stopped in Iowa and we second guessed everything and had like this huge meltdown. Well, not like, I wouldn't say meltdown. I would say it was just one of those times in your life where a decision has to be made. And there's a fork in the road. And that fork in the road, for us, we took the road less traveled. Just like the poem. It was either stay and not change, and your life fall apart and be miserable, or your life fall apart, you take a chance, and maybe you build something. And being in recovery, working the steps, we're at step 1. That's where we're at. So if you're unfamiliar with the steps, the 12-step program, first step is your life becomes completely unmanageable. Insert addiction, insert codependency, insert alcohol, whatever you want. For us, it's all the above. And I'm learning so much on this trip just listening to meetings while I drive. Like, I think this is the most growth I've seen in myself in the 30 years of being alive. And I'm so grateful, because the beginning of this trip, it was just fear. It was just always fear. There's so much fear. There's always fear. We're afraid of people, places, and things. I definitely am. Because it was a big deal. It's a big decision. It was, you stay and be homeless in a place that never really took you in. It's still unfamiliar. You didn't grow up there. It's not as familiar. You've only been there about a year. And you've met great people, but it's not working. Something's not working. And the other option was you travel to California and figure out what wasn't working. You travel to California and take that risk of being vulnerable and honest with yourself and sitting in the quiet with yourself and just sitting there. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just sitting here and being as honest as I can with myself, and not running away, not hiding, not switching, just being with myself. This is Emma, by the way. Emma, and I think Dominic's here too. And what do I find? What do I find? This is Dominic. What do I find? Her. Find her. And it's Emma. And Emma, I love you. I love you. Because I knew it. I knew it the whole time. I knew that you were the one. You were the one that suffered a lot. And I tried to save you. I did. But you can't save somebody unless you save yourself. And I had to save myself first to save you. I'm sorry. good memories to replace all the bad ones. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. And I know it hasn't been easy. I'm gonna quote our therapist. But there is strength where there is weakness. And wherever you think you're weak, Emma, it's your strongest point. Because you're a survivor. And I just want you to know that. I love you. No matter what. And I'll always be here to hold your hand. No matter what. I just want you to know that. This is Dominic, and that's all I have to say. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Dominic. This is Emma. I'm driving in the middle of the road. Don't mind me. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Colorado. I think I'm about to the border. Of Utah. And I have about half a day of driving left. I guess technically more than that. I can't really tell. My brain's kind of playing tricks on me. Because technically speaking, there's 7 hours after we get to our current destination, and our current destination is like 7 hours. So it's literally like 14 hours. Which we drive every day for the last 4 days. So I really feel like we could make it tonight if we wanted to. Has been the best thing I think I've ever done for myself, because it was on my bucket list. I have a bucket list, and I got to see a mountain, which was also on my bucket list. I think one of my favorite things was also listening to punk rock music through the mountains and finding a new song called Save Me by Jelly Roll and Twin Size Mattresses by, I didn't catch the band, but I'm gonna look them up. And it's just been so magical, because this wasn't even planned. This wasn't like a cross-country tour that you plan for like months or years. This was so spontaneous. This was like, which is why our system literally went through this panic of we go, we don't go, 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 we go, we don't go. And we did that for days. Because we knew, and I knew, that if we went, there's no going back. If you go to California, like, it's a long way. Crossing the continental U.S. in 5 days. That's what we're doing. We went from Northern Virginia to Southern California, Los Angeles. And right now, we're between the border of Colorado and Vegas. what this would have been like to cross as like a pioneer. Can you imagine that? Like, you think a road trip is hard? A road trip is like luxury. Those people had horses and children and no air conditioning, no running water, and they did it. And why did they do it? They did it not to make money, because most of those people didn't live with money back then. They made their lives from scratch. And it feels like that's what I'm doing right now in recovery. Is my life became unmanageable to the point that I hit rock bottom, like they talk about. That's what they talk about in 12-step. They say at some point, addiction, alcohol, drugs, whatever, you're going to reach a point where your life, it doesn't work anymore. And why doesn't it work anymore? And I can only speak for myself. And mine doesn't work anymore because I was getting in my own way. Here I was, a young, stupid kid who thought in order to survive in this world, I have to make my own life. I have to make it from scratch. I have to use my own tools because there's not a soul in this planet Earth that's going to help me. And that was my cognitive distortion. I thought I had to do it all by myself. And I did it for 30 years. I did it by myself for 30 years. And I was miserable the entire time. And it wasn't until I found recovery a year ago, you know, because I was about to lose my life. I was about to lose my whole life. Because there was an altar that wanted to kill us. Wanted us dead. And we didn't know who they were. We didn't know their name. We just got voice. And it's like, this is gonna happen. And we were like, wait, what? So we ran. Like we always do. We ran. And I was a part of that team that made that happen. And didn't tell Lionel. Didn't tell anybody else in the system. We just did it. It was me and Dominic, and we just ran. And the running is what's ruining my life, I think. If I really break it down, I'm reliving the past. I think it happened in the past. I think it was me and a boy, and we ran away. I think we were really young, and we ran in hopes of a better life. And they killed him. And they tried to kill me. And it didn't work. I was too fast. I ran. And the running saved my life. But it's not the past anymore. You know, I've heard that from every therapist. But the only one is my current therapist, is the one that I'm listening to, because I finally got it through my thick skull that maybe running's not a good idea anymore. Even though it's exactly the same thing that I did as I ran from her. And for that, I just want to say, I'm not going to apologize because I don't have anything to apologize for, but I just want to say thank you to her for putting up with all the push-pull, all the insecurity and fear. I just want to say thank you to her. She knows who she is. I'm not going to tell you who she is. And now that we ran, making it in Virginia or making it anywhere, we thought, what about treatment in California? There was this opportunity that presented itself. We sat with it for like a month. And it wasn't until this last week that we figured out we have to do it. Because if we don't, we're gonna die. If we don't do this, there's a lot of voices and there's a lot of altars, and they say the opposite. They're like, but what if we go there and we're gonna die? And that's the conversation we've been having with ourselves this whole time. Is we're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. But we like California. We've been there before. Not the same place, but similar. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And it got cut short. And I really felt like I was healing. I really felt like I was doing better. And then wham. Life just hit hard and everything just broke. And it broke me. And I ran. And the reason why I ran was because of my dog. She wasn't doing well. And people taking care of her were like, I really think you should give her up. And she's not doing well. And it broke my heart. Because I made that choice. I made that choice to leave her behind. Hoping that I'd be back in like a little bit of time, but it took a lot longer. Way longer, because I'd never been in treatment before. I didn't know. I didn't know it wasn't a quick fix. I didn't know it wasn't something that they could handle in a month. I didn't know. And so I ran. And I ran to get her. And our life fell apart around us. But we were together. And that's the only thing that matters to me. Is this dog. Because she is the most perfect, wonderful thing in my life. And I have her now. I saved her. And she saved me. And now we're going to California together. And that's all that matters to me. Is that we're together. And I'm not saying it's not going to be hard. And I catastrophize, so, I'm already thinking worst case scenario. I'm trying not to do that anymore. Or as much. Because there's always room for growth. But at least we're together. And I'm realizing that the more I surrender, the more I just let things happen and meet them where they're at. Like life, you just meet life where it is. The less painful. And it's not like there's not pain or anything, but it's bearable. I'm finding it a lot more bearable. Because I'm not trying to control it. I'm not trying to manipulate it. Because that's what I do. I'm just meeting it where it is. And that is helping so much. And I learned that through 12 steps. And with that, I'm so grateful for those rooms and those people that teach me every day what it's like to be turns out alright, I know it'll be okay, but whether or not I like it is like a whole different story. That's literally what I've learned about life is there's a difference between getting everything you need and getting everything you want. And I tend to be the one, and I'll be honest, that likes to get everything I want because I didn't get what I wanted when I was little. There was nothing. I got nothing but struggle, strife, torture, pain, suffering for the entirety of my childhood and early adult. Now I'm 30 and it's not happening anymore. And I have to say that a million times a day. This is not happening anymore. That's a memory. That's the past. And it's not until I put that in my brain and turn it on and keep it on that I'm gonna get better. I know that. Because I keep turning it off. I keep turning it on. And I don't know why. I think it's just because it's what I'm used to. It's easier in some ways to just turn it off. Ignore it. But I'm finding that that's